Okay, now we're going to put the mast up for the first time. You can see the sail is already prepared before. And here's the mast. Make sure the F on the mast is facing forward as the mast goes up. So the mast can go up. Drop it down, then look underneath and make sure it's slotted in properly. You feel the mast drop when it's secure. Okay, now the next thing is to get the sail. The sail goes beside the mast on the opposite side to the cleat. There's the cleat on one side and the sail on the other side. Now we'll hoist the sail for the first time. Unroll the sail. Find the yard, the thin piece of timber. Notice how the H is at the front corner, the front of the boat. So you loosen the halyard. Take the end back to the yard. Remember those 3 loops we put around the yard? The halyard goes through 2 of those only. The 3rd one is not used. It will pull tight and jam when there's tension on the halyard. The halyard goes on the opposite side of the mast to the yard. It's important that it goes underneath the vertical part of the halyard. Underneath the vertical part of the halyard, forward to the end of the yard, the front hole in the yard. You do a bowline, bow line, and then you can pull the sail up for the first time. The sail goes up to about the same height as the cleat, and then do the cleat up the way that we showed you before, by going round the base of the complete 360 degrees one time, cross over, cross over, cross over, then round 3 times. 3 or 4 times, and pull to jam it. Note how the boom first is at the same height as the cleat now. So move around to the other side of the boat and we'll do the downhaul. Okay, now we need to set up the downhaul tension, which is the most important adjustment on the boat. I'll run you through that. The place to start is to have the sail at the top of the mast. The halyard needs to be tight enough that the sail is at the top of the mast, and now you can start threading the downhaul. We've done it as a yellow rope so you can see it clearly. Go through the downhaul loop on the deck, which is the blue one, then go over the boom and go over the boom behind the clove hitch knot. Then you go down through the downhaul loop again. Now you have to pull it really tight. You push down on the boom and pull on the rope at the same time. The result of that is that there will be a crease in the sail that looks like this, going right up to the top. This crease is deep and severe for when the wind is strong, and a little bit softer when the wind is light. But usually you do it pretty tight. So coming back, the tension is now right. So the downhaul goes over the boom behind the knot again. Don't lose any tension. Pull it round and then tie it off with 2 half hitches. 1/2 hitch. Pull it up tight so it jams underneath the boom. That stops it from slipping. That's 2. Now you've got enough downhaul tension. Right, then it's in behind the boom, between the downhaul and the mast, and gets pulled back and around this side, through the hole in the end of the boom, goes underneath the boom, and then behind the initial rope, round again, and tie it with 2 half hitches. It's supposed to be a little bit tight. It pulls the boom backwards a few inches to stop the boom from going forward. So the main sheet, the thick rope, is designed to adjust the angle of the sail in and out. The sail goes out for less power, in for more power. It's not quite that simple, but that's the basic idea. The problem with the main sheet is that it can get twisted, so we walk it out before installing it. So loose fingers, walk out, right to the end. As you walk, the rope untwists itself, which means it won't come twisted when it's sailing. And then right at the end, you just let it fall through your fingers and drop it. Okay, then you pick up that end and bring it back to the boat. Okay, so first it goes through the block on the traveller, then it goes up to the block on the boom, on the back of the boom, up to the block on the middle of the boom, push the boom right out to 90 degrees to the boat, and then pull through all the main sheet until it's tight with the boom at 90 degrees. That's perfect. Then we put our fingers close to the block so we know where the knot has to go, and we put an 8 knot right there. This is an important safety feature. If the boom goes out further than this, it makes the boat more difficult to control. Now find the end of the main sheet and thread it through the lashing for the foot strap. Tie a bowline around the lashing of the foot strap, and for extra safety you can put a figure 8 knot in the end. It's important not to waste the shock cord for the rudder box. Go 3 times around the rudder box. The knots you have to use are simple half hitches pulled very tight. 3 on one end and 3 on the other to make a fisherman's bend. See the knots in the text below this video. Make sure it's possible to pull the shock cord back to fit the rudder blade with one finger. It should be difficult, but not too difficult. Finally, when it's all tied and all the extra shock cord is on one side, you can cut it off because the extra shock cord has to be used for the centreboard. Now for the centreboard. We've already tied the bungee to the handle. That's the leftover bungee from the rudder. Now the front end goes underneath the deck, goes around the mast, is pulled tight enough to pull the top of the centreboard forward, and we put 2 half hitches in the end. The idea is to pull the top of the centreboard forward and to slide the centreboard up or down, pull it back so it's vertical in the case. If you do that, it will slide easily, and then you can release it to stay in the position where you want it to be. When you're finished with the centreboard, don't leave it on top of the seat, put it down on the floor. It's easily damaged, so on the floor it can't fall anywhere.